Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the live stream. Today, we're doing a different kind of video today. I don't have a guest, so we are going solo dolo, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of the experiences that I've noticed and got to experience from getting sober from weed. Because I think one of the big kind of misconceptions is that, okay, I'm going to get sober. It's going to be super boring. My life revolves around weed. How am I going to live without it? And this is what I thought when I was trying to quit. Like, am I ever going to have fun again? Am I ever going to get to connect with people? I felt a lot of depression. And so I really, I really had to kind of be patient with myself and get through that initial withdrawal period so I could begin to experience some of the benefits. And I want to start off by saying for each person, it's a little different. So I'll be honest, for me, it took a couple, probably like a year plus to start feeling good. I had a lot of stuff to work through. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was doing dabs, which, if anyone knows, it's concentrated THC. So I was doing that from sunup to sundown. And um, essentially I was just so high all the time that it took a long time for my neurochemicals to reset, which is something I talk a lot about on this channel, the importance of balancing out dopamine levels, serotonin, oxytocin, all of that stuff. And when I was smoking so much weed, it just got jacked up to another level. So yeah, that first year went by. I got into recovery groups. That was really what kind of started me off in the right direction. I can't say them by name, as you guys know who follow this channel, because there are purposes. But you can reach out to me on Instagram if you want the names of the groups, etc. There's meetings 24/7, and they're just really nice because I was able to, and you might be able to connect with like-minded people who are also quitting marijuana. I felt quite isolated because most of my friends that I was hanging around with, I was, spending a ton of time with them, and all we were doing was smoking weed. So I didn't really know anybody that was on the path of recovery. So getting into these support groups, I was like, okay, I'm around like-minded people. These people have the same goal and vision as me, which is to get sober, stay healthy, etc. And it was just a real breath of fresh air. There's a saying that you guys might have heard either on this channel or elsewhere, is that you become like the five people you surround yourself with. And this, I mean, throughout this like last almost 7 years now being off weed, I cannot tell you how more that's true. And it can be very subtle too, where I spent a couple of days around somebody that is not quite in alignment with where I'm going or who I am, and I start to take on that energy and that kind of some of the old ways of myself. The old Joel starts to come back, and I'm like, oh man. So I instantly have to go and start surrounding myself with people that are on the path of recovery, uh, at least for a little while. And I can still have friends that maybe still use once in a while. That's not a big issue, but I really have to at least be having conversations with people that are in recovery of some way, or are sober in some sense, because it reminds me, like, okay, there is something higher than, pun intended, than just getting high all day. There is a different life, and these people are living it. So why can't I live it too? So yeah, continuing on, some of the fun things that have happened since quitting weed are relationships have improved 100%. I'm a pretty introverted person. I know I'm doing this YouTube channel and stuff. I have a finite amount of energy I can put out into the world, and then I got to retreat back and go back into my own head and my own mind and recharge. So weed was pretty much, I was always introverted. Like, I'd hang out with friends once in a while, and all we would do, of course, is smoke weed. But without the weed, I found it very difficult to socialize with people, and it took a while to kind of let go of some of that social anxiety. And some of those ways of doing that was getting out again to the support groups, just having phone calls with friends, family members here and there, and just really practicing. For a long time, I did have to be solo, so pun intended again, solo dolo, so I could kind of heal some of those old childhood wounds, the trauma, etc. However, as I started to get some traction on that, I was able to start to enter the real world again and start to create friendships, different relationships, etc. And because I wasn't so emotionally drained from having smoked weed all day, because I had serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin in my brain, I was able to really kind of, be present with these relationships, which is something that they talk a lot about in, I know, Buddhism. I'm a big fan of Buddhism, just being present. And I never really knew what that was until getting into recovery. and what presence means to me. And comment down below if you guys are into Buddhism. I see a few people on. Really appreciate you guys joining. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to kind of diving into some of your questions in a bit here. With Buddhism, they talk about being present and just being where I am 100%. Uh, as humans, our minds, they go off in all different directions. They're trying to plan stuff, memories come up, planning for the future, etc. And sometimes when that gets on overdrive and we are with relationships with people, it's very difficult to then give our full energy to the person we're with. And over time in recovery, that's one of the huge blessings that I've received from quitting weed is I get to show up for relationships. I get to have a great time. And I know that I leave with them feeling like, hey, I'm happy I spent time with Joel because he was listening, he was present. He wasn't always just trying to talk over me like I used to in the past. And I could tell they really appreciate it. And in turn, I get to feel good too. So it's a win-win. Some other things that really changed were health and fitness. So something else I really talk about a lot on this channel, and especially for anyone, seems like there's a couple people that are working on quitting weed. That that withdrawal process can be very painful, and it's something I think and I've seen that really holds people back from getting sober is because they're like, fuck, I don't want to have to go through this and feel all this pain and emotional turmoil. So finding ways to get a natural high and feel good in any way possible is going to be really important for getting through that withdrawal period, that initial month, week, even just one day at a time, right? That's what they say a lot in recovery support groups, one day at a time. And sometimes, like when I was craving using, right, let's say I was like a week clean or whatever, and I'm like, man, I really just want to smoke weed again. Well, let's just say I go for a run, right? And then I'll go for this run and I'll see what happens, right? If I still want to smoke weed afterwards, we'll cross that bridge when I get there. But let's just see what happens if I just go for a run and do something positive and healthy for myself. So I go for that run. I get a ton of endorphin highs. I'd probably only be able to run like, I don't know, 8 minutes because I've just been, my lungs were hurting, and I hadn't been in shape for a long time. So by the end of that 8 minutes, I was wheezing pretty heavily. But the high I felt, the natural high, was enough to be like, okay, you know what? I can make it through the night. I can get to tomorrow and give it another shot. And thank God I went for that run, right? So exercise is something that has been very helpful for me, and it's something that I implement today, still today. I love working out. I love playing basketball. I love going golf. I just love being outside, being in nature. Went for a run today. I'm in Poland right now, actually, and this is something else we can talk about is the importance of travel and getting out there and starting to see the world. This is the first time I've left the U.S. besides going to Canada, and then also I was born in Korea, so if you count that. But I haven't really ever explored the world before because I've been so focused on my recovery and getting sane, etc. But now that I have a few years under my belt, I'm starting to reach out and go to the world. So I'm in an Airbnb right now. It's this city's amazing, guys. I don't know where you are in the world. Let me know down below. And if you get a chance to come here, it's beautiful. The people are friendly. I'm from Wisconsin in the U.S. And for anyone that lives in the U.S., you may have noticed that some of the values of society are a little askew right now, and we won't dive too big into that because that's a whole can of worms. But I noticed that with wanting to be with my independence, I'm a very independent person. With wanting to kind of not completely, I can't completely control everything in my life, but wanting to have agency over what I do and how I live and my freedom and how I spend my money, etc. I found that the West isn't always conducive for that. So moving here, it's very different, very more a little more traditional in those values. So yeah, we can talk about Poland a little bit. I'm gonna hop into some of these questions here, and also, guys, if you do want to come on the live stream right now and ask a question or just say what's up, I'm gonna put the link in the comments right now, and you can click on it, and I'll add you, and then you can ask anything you want or just say hey. So there is the StreamYard link. I think you should be able to get it in the live chat on the YouTube page as well. So let's see. We got Francisco. What's up, brother? How long did it start? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. If you could evaluate a little more. If you mean by the live stream, just started like 10 minutes ago. Um, let's see. Uh, um, Mia Jacob. Oh my God, I have first day. I take that means that you are on day one of getting sober. So props to you. I know I empathize with you. I know what it's like to be on that first day, and it's scary, and it can be very painful, perhaps. And so I just want to say, a big shout out for you for coming on and showing up and being here and being willing to talk about it, because that this is going to be a very important day. It's almost the first day for the rest of your life. That's how I like to see it, right? You're having a rebirth. And so just hang in there, keep doing what you know in your heart to be right. And I guarantee you that you will have success in this, because I did, and I was at the low of the low. So you got this, Mia. Toby Larson, what's up, brother? Yeah, 13 days. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. You're welcome, man. And I'm glad these videos are adding value to you. 13 days that's good, man. In my eyes, that means you just got over that hump. So that's great. That first initial maybe week or so was the hardest for me, because I was going through a lot of those withdrawals. I was sweating like crazy, right? Um, I would wake up in just night sweats. My sheets would be soaked. My dreams were starting to come back, which was terrifying, because it was the first time I ever dreamt in like months. And so yeah, that first week or so was pretty rough. And after I got through that initial period, I experienced a lot more confidence that I was going to be able to do this. I'm like, all right, I got through the grind. I put in a good amount of work. Like I really don't want to lose this streak at this point. So I'm gonna stick it out and see what happens. And slowly, as the days went on, weed became just less and less of it became a memory. It became way less important. I just started, whenever I thought about it, I just remembered how shitty I felt when I was smoking weed, especially in those in those end days. In the early days, it was fun. I can't lie, but after a few years of doing it, every time I smoked, I felt nothing. I felt nothing, and I needed it to feel baseline. So having that relief, having the natural chemicals of feeling good come back. It was just a huge breath of fresh air. So keep it up, brother. Keep in touch with your progress too. This is awesome. And let's see. And yeah, what's up, Copenhagen, Denmark? Sweet. Looks like we're neighbors. Yeah, reach out, dude. Let's get in touch. Slovakia is in Europe. Okay. Yeah, it is in Europe. That's awesome. So you're in Europe too. Cool. We got a lot of Europeans here. I like it. I like it. Again, I appreciate you coming on. And Francisco, let's see, Costa Rica. Nice. Got a brother from down under. No, that's Australia. But yeah, welcome again. Day 32. Congrats, Paul. That's awesome. Still feeling cloudy. So yes, and I started off the live stream saying that everyone's going to have a different experience with when they start to kind of start to feel better, in a sense. It took me a little while, and that cloudiness, depending on how long you smoked, it may take a while to it may take you a while to reset and come back to baseline, etc. So I appreciate you being open about this, and I'm glad that you're not just suppressing it and just being like, I'm feeling so happy. I'm so happy I'm off weed, right? When inside you're actually feeling kind of like shit. So it's okay that you're feeling this way. And as I see it, even today, being 7 years clean, I still go through waves of feeling really good and high, which is what I want to be all the time, right? But I'm a human being. So actually, every time there's a high, there's a low. And then periods where I do feel low, or I feel kind of maybe in the middle, just kind of just not super excited, but I'm grateful to be alive at the same time. And that is just part of being the human experience of being a human. And I think a lot of folks don't get taught that growing up. I know I didn't. I was taught that unless you're happy, unless you're full of energy, you're doing something wrong. And so I always based my self-worth on how I was feeling, instead of like just being alive, etc. So get through these days, man. And like, I promise you, like, with every load, it will go up again. And if you, my attitude is, okay, if I can ride this low, it will get high again. And I'll be so grateful. And every time it's just proven me right. Every time I feel low, I get to feel high again. And I'm just so happy. So, yes, keep in touch as well, Paul. That's awesome. 32 days. Here's to 32 more. Ibrahim, what's up, brother? Am I moving to Europe permanently? I'm in month 2, intending to leave weed and just started my journey for quitting porn. Right on, dude. Right on. As you guys know, I've been talking a little bit more about that and how important quitting porn has been for my life, my journey, etc. I have a day and a half, but always cave within the first 3 days. Any suggestions? So, answer your first question. I would like to. I would like to. I'm thinking in this next year, I'm going to travel the world a bit. I want to go to Korea. That's where I was born. I was adopted, went right to America. So I've never really been back there. I want to go down to Colombia and see some of that, that environment. I heard it's pretty cool. El Salvador, I'm planning for the winter, possibly. And then eventually, I think I do want to come back to Europe because it's just beautiful. I just love everything about it. So potentially, yes. Day 2 months, and yeah, brother. Like, dude, guys, it's so awesome to see how many people are having success with marijuana recovery because I know how lonely it can feel, even for me sometimes. So congrats, man. That's awesome. How you feeling? And I'd love to know like what your experience has been, etc. So feel free to reach out on Instagram. We can have a chat. And that you're a day and a half clean with porn. Yes, guys, porn is a big one. Porn is a big one, especially for young men. I was first introduced to porn when I was a little, I don't know, teenager, and as most of my friends were, and I spent many years watching it, and it was something that I wish I could say like, yeah, I learned so I learned so much from it, but no, it was just a hedonistic seeking pleasure. So, um, craving for like, I think admitting that you have been caving within the first 3 days is the first step. Admitting that to yourself, to your own ego, that hey, I haven't been able to get past this hump, it- pun intended, is kind of going to be a really important step, and it's going to send the message to the universe that like, hey, like I'm being honest right now. Like, hey, I want this, right? And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, including saying the truth, which, as we all know, sometimes saying the truth about ourselves really hurts. So I think it's great. That's step one, man. Just reaching out, talking about it. Another suggestion would be to every time you feel that craving, take note of it. Like, if you, I don't know if you journal or anything, but keep a journal on you. Say, yo, I'm craving. This is what I like led to the craving. Maybe you saw, you saw someone you're attracted to in the street, etc. Maybe you had a memory come up. Write that down, and then I like to believe. How do I say this? What I believe is pattern recognition, pattern interruption. So I recognize a pattern that, okay, for example, every time I see, I don't know, a blonde girl in at the gym, I want to go and watch porn, etc. Just in this example. And so then, okay, so I have this pattern, I recognize it. Now, how do I interrupt it? Right? Go for a run, maybe make a healthy meal, talk to a family member, right? Because I'll tell you, the last thing you want to do after talking to a close loved one is watch porn. So, yeah, let me know, Ibrahim, how that works out for you and how and your progress and stuff, because this is a really important topic, and I think a lot of guys are struggling with it. Um, so yes, keep coming back, and you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So we got Toby here. Smoked every day for 7 to 8 years. The first days were really hard, but it's getting better. Good, 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 good. I have a very vivid dreams every day. I don't want to go back. It's a low key prison. It really is, dude. That's a great way to put it. And it sucks because it's not like a prison you get to share with other people. It's like our own isolation. And I know I just saw all my potential just not being lived, right? I don't know what your guys' youth was like growing up. I was a big dreamer, so I worked really hard for things. When I set my mind to something, I thought I had success with it. But with weed, I just didn't have that motivation anymore. I wanted the results, but I didn't want to work for them. And that is something, to the topic of this video, that was really awesome in quitting weed. That's been a great part of recovery, is that I have motivation back in my life. I have motivation to do anything I want, to create dreams, businesses, relationships, etc. It's just like a primal desire that's just finally unlocked because I'm not shoving it down with copious amounts of marijuana and other substances. So that's coming back up and to light. And I see now that as humans, we're meant to go out there and get shit done. We're meant to go build stuff, to produce stuff, and depending on gender too, that can be another talk, and also personality as well. I found that men are more inclined to go, build, produce, lead, create. Women are more inclined to go, nurture, be very supportive, loving, etc. And weed kind of stops all that, and so it's great. Like our own genetics get to come back onto line without weed, and we get to live kind of the authentic life that we were designed to live. And I don't mean from like, a spiritual perspective, although that does happen as well, but from an evolutionary perspective, which for a long time I disagreed with. I'm like, oh no, we're spiritual beings, right? We can do whatever we want. But no, there is like a biological nature to us that causes us to behave in certain ways, and it's like yielding to that has been a huge freedom for me as well, instead of trying to fight it and be like, oh well, I want to do this even though I'm a guy, etc. And vice versa. Again, another talk for another day, because we can really get deep into the rabbit hole on that one. So yeah, congrats, dude, as well on getting clean and taking this action for yourself. The dreams were so vivid for me too. Today I love dreams because I find that whenever I'm having a dream, it means I'm processing through something. And the dreams usually have to do with, yeah, something I'm dealing with, like a friend. Like I think a lot about high school friends in my dreams, and that means that I haven't really resolved something with that. So that means that I have some work to do on overcoming those wounds. That's pretty much the big one. I used to have dreams that I would get eaten all the time, like growing up, which sucked. Like I would be afraid to go to bed because I'm like, I'm gonna get eaten tonight. Fuck, this sucks. And over time, that definitely went away. I don't know if any of you guys have ever gotten to sleep psychosis, where like you're trying to fall asleep and you're about to fall asleep, and then like your body locks up, but you're still conscious. It's it was horrifying. And I remember, like, I don't know, maybe like 5 months after I quit weed, it it happened. It was happening again, and I just surrendered to it, like really powerfully. I just surrendered to it, and I like, I don't want to say astral project, but like I had like an out of body experience, and it was absolutely crazy. And I've never had that ever happen again. I've never feared about getting eaten in my dreams. So yeah, dreams are a very powerful tool, I think, to work through issues, to work through trauma, etc. And it's a good gauge that, hey, if I'm having crazy dreams, it means that I'm progressing along my journey. So thanks again, Toby, for chiming in. You should be a coach, a really good speaker. Thank you, brother. And I'm from North or South Korea. Definitely South Korea. I don't think I would have made it out of the North. If you guys know much about all that stuff, yeah, you don't want to be in the North. Big red flag. So yeah, I'm from South Korea, and yeah, I do coaching actually. So I have sobriety one-on-one coaching. If any of you guys are interested in getting some one-on-one help, you can reach out. I will put the link. You just fill out an application. Just let me know what your addictions are dealing with, how motivated you are to really deal with it, because that is something that is important. Is that when I choose to work with someone, they have to be motivated. They got to be willing to show up week after week and do the work, because this is a program of action. It is not for just kind of wishing that everything gets better. You got to get out there and take action. So I will put that link here shortly into the chat, and that is available. You can hop on a little call and see how it can be of help to you, etc. And let's see, dude, porn's a total killer. I'll do another solo live stream about porn, and we can talk about that more in detail. So, yeah, again, guys, keep throwing your questions in if you have any, or comments, etc. Something else that I wanted to touch on that has happened since I quit weed, and one of the blessings of living life without weed, is that the relationships with my family members have improved. I was pretty isolated from my family members when I was smoking. I didn't talk to them much. Sometimes I wouldn't even talk to them on holidays. And it was because I just had so much anger and resentment towards where I was in life. And instead of taking ownership for it and saying, I'm responsible for this pain I'm feeling, I said, okay, it's your fault, mom. It's your fault, dad. And because of that, I don't want anything to do with you. And so after having some clarity from the weed, I was like, okay, I gotta heal these relationships, because my parents are very important to me, and I'm very important to them, and it would be a shame to not have this a relationship with them. And at this point, like, what I've seen with my folks is we're very different. Like, we have very different interests. Again, I was adopted, so we don't have any like biological kind of connection, which means they're really big into nature. They're very very introverted. They just like to keep themselves. I even though I do have an introverted personality. I do like going out there. I do love socializing and hanging out with people. Um, that's why I love Warsaw, because there's just people everywhere. There's so much to do every night. The weekends are a lot of fun, and it's fun going out there being sober. I'll tell you, I smell a lot of weed though, and sometimes I'm like, that's kind of nice, but not going back there. So anyway, coming full circle, relationship with my parents is healed. I got to make amends to them, which for you guys, if you don't know what amends are, it's going out and seeing the ways that you have harmed somebody and taking full ownership of it. It's not an apology, which is something I think gets misconstrued. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was someone that if I did something shitty, I would just be like, sorry, 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 right? And then do the same thing over. An amends is saying, yo, like, I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. I am not going to behave that way again. Like, that is like, I owe that to myself. I owe that to you. And it's just not going to happen. I promise you. So that is something that is a huge blessing in recovery, is getting to amend those relationships. And sometimes, I've had a couple amends I've made to friends and such, and they haven't full they did for a little bit, but we really grown apart. So they people always won't accept you back into your life if you're, with an amends. So that is something that, I say, don't let that hold you back, because it's going to provide yourself freedom. It's about you and how you can find um that joy and peace and natural happiness to yourself. As much as it is important to as much as it's important to love others too, we come first in recovery. We come first in sobriety. And it's something that I think a lot of folks don't learn how to do. I have a lot of codependency. If you guys know what that is, comment down below. And I've been in recovery for that for a few years too. So that, I think, is going to lead into the next point here, which is that get to work on other addictions, guys. You're not, we, ironically, addictions are like weeds. Like, you take one down, another one pops up. So like Toby said, he quit marijuana, but now porn's kind of becoming a more of an issue. And it's not that it wasn't an issue. It's just that now the weed's not taking up so much space and mental energy. You can focus on the other ones. And so that has been a huge, might not feel like a blessing in the moment, but it's a huge blessing in disguise, because it's like you just get to tackle all these things that people carry around their whole lives, and you get to the root of them and dissolve them from your life, to where I look back at the days where I watched porn, drank alcohol, smoked weed, etc., and it's just like a dream. I'm just like, how did I actually did that? Like, no way. Life is so much different now, and it's so much more beautiful, etc. Like, I'm very present of what's happening in my life. I get to experience things fully. Like, this live stream brings so much joy to me. Before, when let's say I was still using or something, I would kind of be like wanting to get off. I'd be like, all right, once it's done, so I can go do something else, right? But this is life. This is living life, 100%, and I get to do that every day, and so do you guys, because you guys are quitting as well. So here is here's a link for the Sobriety 101 coaching application. You guys can fill that out if you are interested. It does sound like a lot of you are doing pretty great, and I'll tell you again that this is a financial investment. So the recovery support groups are an amazing alternative because they're free. So, it would be disingenuous for me to tell you to do this over that, because I did the recovery groups, and again, they're free. They're every day. You can hop on online. I'm not sponsored by them, so don't worry. I'm not getting paid. They definitely they have very strong boundaries within the groups, so that people don't come in and just try to like monetize it. Like, if I were saying like, yo, join this group, I'm getting a cut. Like, no, no, we don't want that. So yeah, check that out, guys. Really awesome stuff. And someone else, Toby, commented again about high anxiety. And so this is another great topic. This is another great kind of gem here, is about anxiety. I think a lot of you guys maybe have high anxiety. And this is why maybe you smoked weed. I'm just inferring here, because that's what it was like for me. Weed helped quell the anxiety, at first, right? I could go out, socialize because I was stoned. I was just calm. But then once the weed stopped working, it was like, oh shit, all this anxiety came back. So, so yeah, another beautiful benefit of quitting weed is that you get to overcome your anxiety. You get to stop feeling anxious every day. Go to the grocery store and feel calm walking through the aisles. Talk to the cash register and not be like, "Oh my God, what are they thinking?" And that might happen, of course, because it's a process of getting through anxiety and learning how to master it within yourself. However, like the universe always gives you nuggets of wins. It doesn't just like put you through hell and then like never give you like some relief. If you do the work, I promise you, you will get bits and pieces of wisdom that say bits and pieces of relief that say, "Hey, dude," or "Hey, gal, you're on the right track." Like, like I promise, keep going, and you'll get to experience more of this. So, I wish the universe would just give it all to me at once, right, guys? Comment down below if you agree. Like, come on, man. But life isn't like that. It takes it takes time, and patience is probably one of the biggest things I've struggled with in sobriety is learning how to be patient. Pardon, one sec. I was not growing up a patient person at all. Again, having that addictive personality, I wanted everything right now, as ASAP, um, as fast as possible. Okay, that's better. And then I had to learn how to have patience, and that is still a work in progress today. But the fact that I'm not smoking weed anymore means I get to actually like work on it and overcome it. So that's a huge win. That's a huge win, is getting to stay patient and learn how to be patient. Learn how to. I don't know if you guys remember growing up, and there was these kids in school, like elementary school and stuff, that just seemed to get it right. They were socially inept. They they had maybe a lot of friends. They just didn't seem to have any issues. And these are the skills essentially that we're learning once we get into recovery. How to just be able to have a conversation with someone without making it all about ourselves. How to have relationships, date, etc. All that, and how to be patient, how to wait for things, how to not need things so quickly, which is again something that has been a big challenge for me. So yeah, I'm playing with these camera angles. I think though I like the other one better. Anyway, what's up, brother? Good to see you again. Shout out Big 100. Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Really appreciate this streaming. All you guys tuning in. Another one from Toby about the anxiety. Yeah, dude. A good friend of mine in high school had Crohn's disease. We ran together. We both did cross country and track, and he didn't talk about it too much. But from what I heard, it was an intense disease, and he really, it took him a while to get it on track and stuff. So Dylan, if you're out there, bro, mad props. Um, and then yeah, dude, that'd be sick if you went to South Korea. I've heard it's really cool. I've heard it's a great city, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it and experiencing um, being around people that look like me, straight up, because I'm from a very white, liberal, progressive town, and I definitely stand out like a sore thumb. So it's something that's going to be very interesting to go through, and I'm excited about it. Good to see you, brother. Really appreciate you tuning into these live streams, dude. And any questions or comments you got, feel free to throw them down. So, we got a few more minutes left. We'll keep it, relatively short today. So something else that I think can be a big motivator, be a big support for yourself in quitting marijuana, is having some goals and dreams that you want to accomplish, some things that maybe in your life you've always wanted to experience, etc., but never have gotten to, because I'll just say it for myself. I was always in my own way. So I had to get out of my own way. And once I did, I was like, okay, I have all this free time, right? I don't know about you guys, but I spent a lot of time smoking weed. So getting out there, getting, a job, I got to work and start to build a career, got to try a bunch of different businesses. I've probably done like, I don't know, 8 businesses right now. And they say, I don't know, the 1 out of 10 succeed. So, hey, got a couple more and I'll be rolling. But did like landscaping business, did some tech, some IT stuff, did I DJ'd, produced music, house music for like, I don't know, 9 years. That was my big dream, and I just couldn't break through into the industry, which kind of sucked. But I'm happy now because I don't know if I want to be out till 3 a.m. partying every day. Uh, yeah, that's just very fun anymore. I went to a techno club here in Warsaw Sunday night, and I was there for like 20, 30 minutes, right? And I was just like, this was fun, but I kind of would rather be at home or like walking on the beach or in a park or something. So you just get a reminder that, like, yeah, I'll go to a club or whatever and have fun for a little bit, but it's not really my scene anymore. So let that go. And yeah, so again, coming full circle, you guys get to create those visions for yourself and work for them. Like, you'll get to have money, you'll get to be able to go to the grocery store and buy food and not worry about that and stuff. Maybe you have a dream of starting a family, having kids, etc. Something that I definitely want down the line, but right now that's not my focus. But knowing that as long as I stay on this path, I'm going to have that experience potentially. And not only that, is I'm going to get to like give my kids a badass life. Like, I'm not gonna just like like, as crazy as it sounds, good chance they're gonna be happy kids because their dad's gonna be pretty sane and pretty functional. If I was smoking weed and trying to have kids, I mean, those kids, poor kids, they would have ended up. Who knows where they would have ended up? Probably still smoking weed or whatever. So I'm looking forward to having relationships and kids that are healthy and are happy. Another thing is relationships. You might have never gotten out and gotten to date, experience that. Personally, I had a girlfriend in high school. It was like dated for a year, and that was like pretty much my main experience until I found weed, and then it just was like, yeah, no, no relationships for Joel. The only relationship I had was with Mary Jane, and we had a very, you could say, dysfunctional relationship, very toxic, very toxic. And so now get to go out and get to date, get to meet people, get to have relationships, and get to practice that area of life, which I never got to experience when I was smoking weed. So a huge win there. So yeah, guys, comment down what your why is. Like, what do you want out of quitting marijuana? Like, why are you waking up every morning and doing this? Why are you showing up on this live stream? And again, this isn't for me. This is for you to remember yourself, and especially in those hard times where you're like, you know what, today sucked, right? I had to go to my job, or I got in a fight with somebody, and I'm feeling insecure, low, etc. All I want to do is smoke weed. When you can tap into that memory bank of like, oh yeah, I remember I like made this promise to myself that I'm going to accomplish this goal. Does weed really fit into that alignment? Probably not. So really, really strong thing I invite you to do. And yeah, we'll finish up here. We got one last question. Thank you, Toby, for being so active in this live stream. I really appreciate it. It's been fun interacting with you and everybody else on this live stream. Um, got to work on these camera angles, but we'll get there. How often do you do a live stream? So I do a live stream once a week, every Tuesday usually. Since I'm in Warsaw now in Poland time, I was usually doing them in the evening, but now I can do them 10 a.m., 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Tuesdays. And next week, we have a really fun one. I'm bringing on a friend I met at the gym. She played basketball for Marquette and plays pro ball overseas. So it's going to be a really cool one. It won't be so much about addiction, but about motivation, because she had some injuries. Her career ended early. And now now she's like kind of in the same mindset as us, right? Like, we're all leveling up. We all love self-improvement. We all love being better versions of ourselves. And she lives that on a day-to-day basis. So I'm really excited to talk about that with her. So tune in for that, guys. It's going to be dope. It's going to be super dope. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time with that. Yeah, dude, no worries, man. Appreciate all your engagement again. Did I experience racism growing up? Actually, no, because the town I was in was very, uh, it's very, I don't know how you say, non it's very Midwest, which means everyone's nice. So maybe there's probably people judge the crap out of me, but no one would ever say it out loud, which is nice. And then actually, probably the most racism I received was from myself, because once I got into high school and stuff, I used being Asian as a bit of a joke, and it got a lot of attention and laughs and stuff, and actually got me some friends, because they're like, okay, this guy isn't taking himself so seriously. Like, I had the nickname Asian Sensation for sports, which which was insane. But yeah, so it's I don't think I experience as much as, like, obviously some people do. And I think as being Asian, we're not like very intimidating people. Like you don't see an Asian guy in the street and you're like, oh, well, maybe if you watch a lot of like kung fu or anime, but if you just don't think like, okay, this guy's gonna jump me or something. It's like, okay, well, here I'm being hell racist against Asians. So yeah, YouTube don't cancel me, but yeah, funny stuff, man. Yo, what's up, DJ? Appreciate you as well. Yeah, DJ has been commenting a lot on the vids and stuff, and it's been cool to see your progression and your journey as well. Toby, he's been working on porn, I believe, and so we're all in this together, becoming better versions of ourselves, leveling up and being stronger. So, guys, I think that's going to end the stream for the day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you, and look forward to doing another one. Again, feel free to reach out if you are interested in coaching. And I will also put a link in for a guide some friends and I who are all sober as well. We created that has a ton of free resources, like over 30 different support groups, online forums, books, movies, YouTube channels, and there is just, I think it's pretty invaluable because it's something that I didn't have at the beginning. So here it is, and you can download that. All you got to do is throw in your email. Oh, that didn't work. I get added to my email list, which I send out occasional emails, just kind of, promote, not promoting, yeah, promoting these live streams and kind of, maybe something inspirational now and then. So, yeah, that is right here. Download it right to your inbox, and let me know in the next stream if you guys ever check out any of these meetings and how they worked for you. So, guys, so much love. Really appreciate you. This has been an awesome hour, and I feel fueled up for the night and to go have an awesome day. Instagram is at Sobriety University _. Again, reach out to me there. We can have a chat. Maybe even, come on a live stream sometime and we can do a little interview and see. And I'd love to hear your story, where you started, where you began, what your goals are, what your dreams are. And it just inspires me so much to keep making these videos and to stay sober, because I know, like, hey, if you guys are doing it, so can I. That's always my mantra. So much love, guys. Peace out. Have a great one, and talk to you soon.